Hi everyone, Dreki here, and today we're unboxing the Furibee H9r. I'm gonna do this as quick as I can because it's nice weather out and I can't wait to see if this camera is the real thing. It does say authentic H9r, but what does H9r even mean? Well, it usually represents a certain processor and image sensor that generally results in decent quality for an inexpensive price. And what excites me especially about this camera is the price is very good. These cameras usually go for around $50 or $60, but I've seen this one at $40 or less. So if it is true and it is an authentic H9r, it could be a very good deal. So let's just put the camera off to the side here and do a quick run through the accessories included in the box. Considering that at the time I got this camera from GearBest, it was listed for $35, it includes a ton of accessories. For the most part, it looks like it's a standard action cam accessory pack with all the clips and waterproof housing and everything that you'd expect in the way of accessories. So I'm just going to fast forward this quickly here. One thing to note is that the camera only comes with one battery, not two. And alright, let's take a closer look at the camera now. The waterproof housing is the standard housing that I've seen included with other H9r style cameras such as the EK7000, the Boblov X6, even the Eken H9r H8. The buttons feel fine, so let's open it up and take a look at the camera itself. The camera itself looks pretty solid too. Again, it's made out of plastic, but it does seem to be the same design style as other H9r cameras with this line around here and that one little light around the front. They all look more or less the same, so nothing really stands out about the design or build quality of this. It is plastic and it is quite lightweight, and as you can see I have my own battery in there right now because I actually opened this camera earlier just to test it. So now let's turn it on and take a look at the user interface because this is one way of telling whether or not the H9rs are authentic. And so far it looks exactly what I'd expect, even including the settings icon that is the same as the authentic H9r. Sometimes other manufacturers change this. I've never owned an Eken H9r before, so I can't really speak in terms of the differences between that camera and this one. However, it seems like this camera is the authentic thing, but I wanted to be sure that this was the real thing that included the OV4689 sensor, so I popped open the camera and took a look at the circuit board, and yes, it does seem to be the OV4689. Let's talk about first impressions of video quality then. So keeping in mind that this is a sub $50 camera then, video quality is actually decent. One of the things worth noting is that this is not the original Eken camera, so you will not be able to upgrade it with Eken firmware. Doing so may brick the camera. The real and genuine Eken H9r cameras will have better firmware improvements, generally more dynamic range, a little bit more fluid frame rates, and sometimes even more detail. But all things considered, this camera is not bad at all. It does have 60 frames per second mode in 1080p that has a decent amount of detail and doesn't look like it's been interpolated. It does have 1080p 30. The 2K and the 4K modes are faked and therefore not particularly usable, but almost everything else about the camera seems decent out of the box, especially when you consider that GearBest is selling this camera for under $40. 4K, 25 frames per second. Oh my god, it didn't freeze. This is very indicative of the jump between the $25 camera to the $35 camera, where with this camera you get a full set of accessories and you get a real 1080p 60 frames per second mode, whereas with the $25 camera you only get minimal accessories and the 1080p 60 mode looks like it's been upscaled from 720p. And then the next step up in quality from this one is the $55-$60 camera, which should have real 2K 30 without the motion JPEG compression and real still images that are actually 12 megapixels, whereas this one is just the standard low resolution OV4689 images. Also, in the next step up, the $55 or $60 cameras, often you'll see gyro stabilization or some form of electronic image stabilization, but they're still all fake 4K. So the question is, in terms of features, what do you need? Do you need real 12 megapixel images? Do you need stabilization? Then you're probably going to want to go for a camera that's $60, $70. But if you're looking for something that's just a basic 1080p 60, 1080p 30 type camera and all included accessories, something like this might do it for you. If you have any questions about this camera, please leave them below, and thanks again for watching. Hi everyone, Drecky here, and this is an audio sample from the Furibee H9r. You can maybe hear the traffic out in the distance over there, but, well, hopefully you can hear me at least. The camera is currently outside of its waterproof case, so that should hopefully give you an idea of how the audio sounds with the camera outside of its waterproof case.